Okay, guys, I'm going to need you to hear me out. I know how to fix Minecraft, and it's so simple. It's so easy. It's so obvious what we have to do. Okay, so quick recap time on what exactly is actually broken in Minecraft. It's the progression. Progression has been broken ever since 1.14, the Village and Pillage update. It's trivial to simply find a village and trade yourself up to enchanted full diamond gear before you even set foot underground, if you ever do. In fact, Village and Pillage is likely directly responsible for the concept of the 2-week Minecraft phase. But that isn't fun, I hear you say. Just ignore the villages if you don't like that system. Well, first, they're kind of hard to ignore when they're literally everywhere. Looking the other way and covering our ears to pretend that everything is fine is how we got to where we are today, after all. We are still talking about Minecraft, right? Oh yeah, yes we are. Well, you're gonna come back here eventually anyway to obtain your permanent perfect armor. Might as well get a head start. You know, unless you would rather scour the world for jungle pyramids, strongholds, and ancient cities for a chance of a mending drop. What's a full armor and tool set again? 11 or 12 mending books? And you know, that's assuming you don't lose it to lava, or the 5-minute despawn timer, or the void. Of course, if you did, that's likely it for you and the world, isn't it? Most players tend to quit when they lose the armor they grinded for weeks. Besides, you actually need to do this if you're going for netherite. Even if the repair cost never raised or got too expensive, you're going to take more in durability to find that netherite than you're going to get out of repairing it. But the durability from breaking a lectern over and over with an axe to reroll trades, now that is manageable. Plus, there is the multiplayer aspect of getting completely left behind by choosing to ignore villagers, especially when someone sets up a raid farm in the first day. It's actually very easy to do, you really just need some wood and a village somewhat near a body of water. See, no matter how you slice it, players eventually optimize the fun out of everything. Not that the alternative to creating netherite armor is that fun either, especially now that Mojang holds a gun to your head and forces you to interact with the upgrade templates. Hey, I thought guns were against the EULA. Oh, that's right, the EULA applies to everyone but themselves. That's why they take months to respond when they only give you 3 days. Haha, anyway. Mojang thinks that nerfing mending by making the villager rerolling more of a grind is somehow a solution, by making it so that you need to create a swamp villager to trade for it. Spoiler alert, that's still far more efficient than grinding for it naturally, especially since they just added a new mechanic that's going to make that a lot easier anyway. And you know, like it or not, perfect armor as a goal is absolutely how they design the gameplay. Sure, they claim that the tools are meant to be impermanent, but then why is the best idea they could come up with for new structure loot armor trims? Very expensive armor trims, I might add. What's the point to decorating something that's temporary? How on earth are we supposed to keep gold or leather armor for exploring the nether and mountains without mending? And I'm not going to decorate leather boots that aren't going to last me the trip, let alone the trip back. And it's not that I could repair them for long anyway due to how repairing and enchanting works. See, between villager trades, grinding optimizations, new mechanics, mending, anvils, enchanting, and armor trims, it looks like fixing Minecraft is a little overwhelming. Well, I have 2 solutions. One easy one, and another one that realistically is also an easy one, but Mojang would likely think it's too hard, so we're gonna have 2. And with the second one, you'd get to keep craftable name tags instead of them being exclusive loot. So, finally, let's get into how to actually fix Minecraft's progression, starting with the simplest solution for Mojang's sake. Or is it Yang? So yeah, villagers are the main problem. Infinitely renewable enchanted diamond gear is insane. But if you're in the endgame, that's not so bad. Mending tools with Fortune 3 could easily get you the same thing. Problem is, we're not in the late game, are we?
No.
So how do we fix this without completely reworking how villagers, well, work? Well, within Minecraft, there are rare occurrences in which a village will naturally generate as an abandoned or zombie village. At least, it's rare in Java Edition. I don't know why they're so common in Bedrock. But anyway, these villages have only a 2% chance to spawn, meaning that only 1 in every 50 villages will be abandoned. These villages are damaged, covered in cobwebs, and all of the villagers are zombified, instantly walking out and burning in the sunlight if you get too close during the day. This requires that if you actually want to try and cure these villagers, you have to approach these places at night. My proposition for an easy solution is to just invert this number, so that the abandoned villages have a 98% spawn rate and regular villages only have a 2% chance of spawning. And that's really it. This would make it so that if you want to have perfect gear, well, you have a few options. You A, have to at least have gone to the nether and conquered a nether fortress to get blaze rods and powder for a brewing stand so you can cure them the regular way. B, you could actually explore your world until you either find a rare intact village or an igloo with a dungeon underneath to immediately start your own village without being forced to go to the nether first. C, you could build a monster spawner and try to sort out 2 zombie villagers and a witch. Or D, you could transfer a witch from a witch hut to an abandoned village either via rails or a happy ghast. Or I guess a boat if you're into women constantly hurting you. Look, I won't judge. The point is that this pushes the broken villager trades to the mid-game instead of the early game, and encourages actually mining and going to the nether first. Of course, unlike netherite, no one is forcing you to do it a certain way. You're free to play the game how you like. And hey, there is still the possibility that you get a lucky spawn, or share village seeds that you find for a sense of community, like we used to do. Which makes a world that actually does have an easy village right off feel very special and not just the typical expected way to play the game. Now, that is literally just changing a couple of numbers around in the code. That has to be easy enough for Mojang devs. I mean, for goodness sake, they did actually add the copper tools we asked for. They just completely f***ed it up. But I know they are at least trying. Still, if even copper balance is too difficult despite having over 10 years of mods to look at and see what did and did not work, then unfortunately, this is where my suggestion ends if you are a Mojang employee watching this. I'm sorry, I just don't trust you guys anymore. Now, of course, we can do better than Mojang's best shot, so for the next part, I am going to go over potential changes that are already available as mods that fix the balance even more, that I believe greatly improves the gameplay for everybody, regardless of playstyle. The first extra change that we are going to be taking a look at is removing the ability to reroll villager trades altogether. It's just not a fun mechanic getting unlucky and re-rolling 40 minutes trying to get a good mending trade. Instead, what you can do is set a new villager to a certain job and then provide the item you want the villager to have as their first trade. This only works with things that they can already learn, so say that you want that mending villager. Well, what you will do is give him a job as a librarian and then actually go out and locate one of those mending books from structure loot. Or you could fish it up. You give him that mending book, and then he consumes it to learn mending as his first trade, guaranteeing that you get mending on the first try. But you do have to still put some work in to get it. It's just not tedious, monotonous, mind-numbing re-rolling. But like I said, if you enjoy that tedious, monotonous, mind-numbing re-rolling, well, you can always go fishing. But the regular way is going to be going out and actually exploring structures for their loot. And hey, this gives existing structure loot its meaning back, as it is a huge gamble to try and level up a villager without knowing or controlling what he's gonna get. Now, name tags can be craftable and not feel like there's no more reason to explore the structures in the world. That being said, the next mod just prevents raids from dropping totems of undying, making them exclusive to mansions and an extremely rare and treasured item again. If you really want to nerf the undying PvP lords, there's also mods that limit how many totems you can have on your person at once, but this would discourage just building a raid farm in the first day. Not prevent you from doing it. You can still build a raid farm and still, farm the drops. You're just not going to become a god by doing that on the first night. Jumping back to villagers though, some enchantments are still very difficult to get, and we don't want it to be a total grind. Going out and exploring the structure loot, yeah, that sounds good, but that still doesn't sound as efficient as fishing. That is why we have grind enchantments. This allows you to take tools and armor and place a book underneath them to grind the enchantments off of the current item and onto the book for an expensive XP cost. Now, that low durability sharpness 5 golden axe you found is actually something you're considering taking back home with you, isn't it? Because that sharpness 5 sure would be nice on a diamond sword instead of a broken golden axe. If you have the XP to spend. go for it. If it has more than one enchantment on it, you can do the same thing with books to separate them, then teach the one enchantment that you want to the villager. The high XP cost keeps this in check and prevents it from being overpowered. This is something you do occasionally, not constantly. Still, if you build an XP farm and are having trouble rolling good enchantments, you might consider creating a gold set first for easier enchantment rolls and then transferring the enchantments to the diamond gear later, giving gold a use for all gear instead of just helmets and pickaxes. But now that mending is pushed further back into the late game, you might need a way to keep a special tool you found until you can get one, but you still want to use it. Well, as for repairing and combining, anvils are now a fixed repair rate and do not increase the enchanting cost whatsoever. It's always just a few levels, but that can still get expensive depending on how much you're doing repairs. Between all of this, there is a balance of resource management between XP, ores, loot, and villagers. Not a single one is a good solution for everything until you do make that villager trading hall. But that is now absolutely a late endgame goal, not something you can just casually do on the second or third night. If you want to take it easy and live a peaceful village life, there are still thriving villages out there and millions of seeds to choose from. But generally, villagers are no longer the crutch that they used to be, while keeping the modern villager trading hall system intact for those who choose to do it that way. But the traditional way of going into caves, mining some diamonds, going to the nether, finding some blaze rods, and fighting the ender dragon is definitely the default again. And loot chests or rare enchanted weapon drops from mobs mean a lot more now that you can steal their enchantments for your own needs. And this is without even touching the vanilla enchanting system. There is so much more we could do, but at this point we are just going to make our own mod pack, which I am actually doing for an upcoming server, so join our Discord to follow updates on that. But what do you think, eh? Sounds like a good way to fix villager balancing without completely tearing down how villagers work and starting over from scratch. And with the extra changes, suddenly name tags being craftable isn't a problem at all anymore. Okay, that's actually a bold-faced lie. It's about to be a bigger problem than any of us could have even imagined. But that near-apocalyptic disaster is gonna have to wait for another video. Until then, we'll just assume that the name tags being craftable is fine and that there are no bad actors in the Minecraft community whatsoever. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think of this potential fix or fixes. Do you think that Mojang would be so bold as to take a community idea so small and run with it? Do we have any faith left in them? I know I don't. But that's just my fifth of a dime on the matter. I'll be adding a lot of these changes to the server mod pack once we have that up and running. If you'd like to help get that up and running, we've got a Patreon for supporting the channel and my projects. I've already got all of the hardware squared away. It's the software side that scares me. PC builders, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's all for now. Take care, everybody. Oh, and don't say furry in the Minecraft chat anymore. Apparently that's considered a slur in Mojang's eyes now. Okay, bye.